Hi everyone, my name is Bryan Ramsdale and I am a farmer here in Kansas. There are about 60,000 other farms here in the state of Kansas. That's according to a state official. And I want to show you around a little bit, let you know kind of what it's like to be a farmer today. And we don't have a whole lot of land. We are what you call a small family farm, but we do have cattle and we do produce some wheat. So I kind of want to show you around and show you what it's like to be a farmer. So one of the first things that I need to do this morning is we need to feed the cattle, and we're going to do that with this tractor right here. But this isn't like your mom and dad's car where it will just start up on a cold day. This is a really big engine, and it doesn't use the same type of gasoline that your parents use. So we have to actually use electricity to help warm up the engine a little bit. That way it will start, because if we don't, this tractor, it won't be going anywhere. Okay, now that the tractor is plugged in, that process is going to take about 15 to 30 minutes depending on how cold it is outside. It's not freezing cold out right now. I don't even really need a jacket on, so it shouldn't take that long. The next thing we need to do is we need to go off and check all the fence lines around the farm. We have some fence, it's called barbed wire fence, and it has these really sharp little ends along the string of the fence. It's basically just a long line, a big wire. And we have a lot of that, but right now we also have our cattle out on a different part of our ground where we farm, and so we have a different style of fence, and we call that an electric fence. And what this fence does is, it's just one line. It doesn't have those sharp little points like the barbed wire fence does, so in order to make sure the animals stay where they're supposed to, we run a very low voltage electric current through it, so it kind of shocks the animal just a little bit if they try to break through the fence. Now, they don't usually try to break through the fence, but there are times when they just get a little bit rowdy, and this is just kind of a reminder of, hey, you have to stay within this property line or else I'm going to have to come chase you down and get you back where you're supposed to go, and nobody wants that to happen. But before we go off and check the cattle, I forgot to show you something. One of my very first chores that I have to do in the morning. We have a lot of cats and a couple of dogs on our farm, and we need to feed them first and foremost because they're looking at me like they're hungry. So you are about to see the cats go crazy. So they know that we're supposed to feed them right here. And so they're just waiting for me to get them some food for the morning. Just like you, they get hungry for breakfast. Now the dogs are the same way. They get hungry for breakfast too, but they don't jump around like the cats. They just want to come up and say hi. So now that that's out of the way for the morning, we might come back and feed them again later in the afternoon, because these animals all stay outside and it gets pretty cold outside at night, so they need to eat a little bit more. So you can see I've went and put on my jacket. That's because I'm about to go get on my four-wheeler and go check the fence lines now that all the animals are fed and the tractor is warming up. The reason why I'm wearing this jacket is because when you drive on a four-wheeler, you don't have a heater or anything like in a car, so you just get hit by all the wind and the sun and the cold that's outside. So it's kind of important to wear something warm as you're driving something like a four-wheeler when it gets really, really cold outside. So what you just saw right there was pretty typical because we have an older four-wheeler. It didn't want to start. It's pretty cold outside. Like I said, that's why I'm wearing a jacket. So I'm going to have to play with it a little bit, but it will start here in just a second, I'm sure of it. Okay, so we are now on the four-wheeler. We have it running, which is a good sign. And we're going to go take a look at our fence lines real quick and make sure that they're up for the day, because we don't want the cows to go and cause some trouble and get out. So we're going to do it safely, but I'll take you along and show you what it's like. So this is the electric fence line that I'm talking about right here. This is a gate that we have, and then you can see right here, that wire. You do not want to touch that. If you ever go to somebody's farm, you don't want to touch that wire if you see it, because that is an electrified fence, and that will shock you very, very badly. So what I'm doing is opening this gate right here, keeping it kind of out of the way. And I've gone off and I've unplugged the fence so we don't have to worry about it shocking me right now as I go off and work on it. But I want to show you the tools that I'm going to use to work on this fence in case it is damaged. First off, this is what we call an electric fence tester. What it does is I connect it to the fence line and it will tell me if the fence still has electricity running through it and how much. These are our fencing pliers right here. They're kind of like a multi-tool where you maybe have like a pocket knife that has a screwdriver on it and some other fun stuff. That's kind of like this. They can cut the wire, they can twist the wire here and here. They also have a little hammer on one end so I can hammer something if I need to, and they've got a point on this end so I can kind of pry up on anything that I need to get loosened up. So these are a really important part of working with fence line. You have to have some type of pair of pliers. These are actually designed for it, but you can get away with just a normal pair of pliers too, but it's always nice to have the tool that can help you out. Okay, now it's time for the fun part. We are going to go check out the fence lines. And so what we're going to use our four-wheeler and we're going to go around the fence line. It goes around this wheat pasture right here. Okay, so we are still checking this fence line. It's about a half a mile long fence, so it makes it a lot easier to have this four-wheeler, even though it's kind of loud and a little bit dangerous. Four-wheelers can be kind of dangerous to drive. You'll see I'm not wearing a helmet. You really should be wearing one, but that's the risk that I'm willing to take. So if you ever ride a four-wheeler, be sure to read the safety about it because you don't want to end up getting hurt. But we got to continue following this line right here. So far it isn't down, so that's good news. Okay, so the fence was up, which is really good news. That means I don't have to go off and make any repairs today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gate handle right here. I'm just going to close this gate back up to make sure the cows don't get out where they're not supposed to be, and we're going to go from there. So we tested the fence with our tester and we looked it over, and it's hot right now. So we're going to go start up our tractor right here. We're going to unplug the electricity that we have in it right now, so it should be warm enough. We're going to go get a couple bales and we're going to go feed it to the cattle. Working on it. We're going to change some of the settings on it real quick and we're going to go pick up a bale of hay. So here's what we're going to do. We have two ways to get bales of hay, one on the front end and one on the back end. And what we have back here, you see all that metal? What I can do is I can control it with this lever right here, how high or low that piece of metal is. So when I pull it down, metal sits down to the ground, so it lets me back up and I can pick up a bale. So we're going to do that real quick. And then on the front end we have what they call it a fork. It doesn't really look like a fork, but what it does is it helps pick up the bale. So I'm going to show you what that looks like next. So the one thing we have to do before we feed these bales of hay is we have to get rid of this string that's on them. This helps hold the hay together because all this is, it's just loose grass that a machine puts together and compresses into these big, large, round bales of hay. And there's no way these would stay together without this type of a string right here to keep it from falling apart. We finally have all the strings off, so what we're going to do is open this gate right here, big enough for the tractor to come through, and we're going to go dump these hay bales off into the feeders. You can see one of them, that red one right over there. That is a bale feeder that we're going to be sticking one of the bales in, and there's another bale feeder out in a different part of our pasture. So you can see some of the cattle are coming this way right now, but sometimes they need a little motivation to tell them that the food's coming. Can you hear them bellowing over there? They're mooing. So sometimes what we like to do is we like to yell at them, tell them to come on, kind of like you'd call a dog. I'll show you this real quick. Let's see if it works. Come on, girls! Come on! Come on! They must not be that hungry. So the cows were a little bit hungry. You can see they all come up here now to get a little bite of this bale of hay that we put out. There's only a few up here right now, but you can see there's some more coming in, and it's hard to see. They're pretty tiny being that far away, it looks like, but the whole entire herd's coming here. So I'm so glad that you all could kind of follow me along throughout my morning chores this morning. It was a blast getting to show it to you all, and I look forward to talking to you during our Skype conversation later today.